everyone, I hope you're doing well. For Christmas this year, well, I guess it's Christmas last year now, Christmas 2024, I decided that in an effort to be frugal, I would make my friends and family a painting, which is the really cool thing about being creative because you can just make people things and give it to them. And it's a really meaningful and sustainable option for gift giving. It's fun too. So I would urge you that even if you don't think you're creative, to give someone something handmade, because chances are you are creative and you are artsy and you might surprise yourself. The first painting I'm doing is based on some sketches I did a few months ago that I always wanted to push further, but I never had any motivation or ideas, and that's pretty much what I did for most of the paintings. I just found something in my sketchbook and painted it to some capacity just to eliminate needing to plan and think too much since I was on a time crunch, because in true me fashion, I had this idea nearly a month before Christmas, but I waited until the weekend before Christmas to actually start. So I think I had 4-ish days to complete 10 paintings. So pretty much doable. I also treated this opportunity as sort of a personal project to help me get out of an art slump and force me to create. I've been in a several year-long cycle of having creative bursts for a few weeks and then getting burnt out and not doing any art for several months. For a long time, I couldn't really understand why this was happening to me, but I also didn't try too hard to figure it out because it was a bit of a difficult subject for me to explore. Recently, I've finally felt ready to explore it and realize that I just put a ton of pressure on myself. I needed a low-stakes, low-pressure project, but something with an end goal that was motivating enough for me to actually go through with it. So Christmas was the perfect thing. Luckily, I have friends and family who are very supportive, and I knew that no matter what I ended up delivering to them, they would love it. So I didn't have to worry about it being perfect. By the way, this next piece was a Draw This in Your Style challenge from @sin.xline on Instagram. I'll leave their handle below. You've probably seen them, but they create these beautiful comic-style illustrations that tell a story. I had been thinking about doing this challenge for a little bit, but of course I felt unmotivated and truthfully a bit fearful, and I think fear is really the motivating factor in my art slumps rather than a lack of motivation. I've realized that fear of this kind should be motivating, not debilitating. The fear here came from the potential for judgment, criticism, and failure. But I've decided people will judge whether you do something or not. So you might as well just do what you feel inclined to do if you think it can lead to personal growth and happiness. My art slumps came because I used art to feel validated and to fit in. In school, I remember thinking people liked me more when they realized I could draw. And so I became so end goal oriented that I found myself also emulating other artists' style. I was never happy with my own, which isn't inherently a bad thing because you can learn a lot about art through emulation, provided you don't pass it off as your own. But I tried to emulate what other people were doing because I saw them with a lot of likes and followers and thought I needed to be just like them to also be accepted. And this is a perfect recipe for burnout. So I had a sort of mantra for this challenge, which was to enjoy the process. I often find myself getting anxious thinking about whether my art is good enough, if people will like it and accept it. But this time I really just wanted to have fun and enjoy making the art rather than focusing on the end result. While in this case, gifting the art made me happy, and that was the end result. I didn't want to be imagining people's reactions or determining if a painting was worthy of gifting. Anytime I found myself feeling too anxious or critical or too focused on the end result, I simply repeated the mantra, just enjoy the process, and it really grounded me. This piece I ended up calling Birthday Scaries and was inspired by my cat Oscar, so I thought he deserved a little screen time. And you of course noticed by now that I chose small canvases for this project, so I hope you'll allow me that one cheat. But as I said before, I was on a time crunch, and I knew larger paintings would be far too daunting, And remember, we're also on a budget. I loved the square format, and surprisingly, I enjoyed the small size, which was something I hadn't really allowed myself to do before because I always thought bigger equals better when it comes to art, and I wanted to emulate the old masters like Klimt or Monet. I think this small format works even better for gifts because receiving something large, such as a piece of art, can be daunting. I think your receiver can feel really pressured to display the art piece, and it will likely become the centerpiece of their room, which may not be the desired result for their space. This small form factor allows your receiver to display the piece in a low-profile manner or to tuck it away for safekeeping. So just something to think about should you embark on a similar journey yourself. In addition to feeling fearful to do art because of judgment or failure, there's also the aspect of originality. While doing these paintings, I pretty much exclusively binge watch Apple Cheeks on YouTube, who does really entertaining art business related videos. I think she said in one of her videos it can be hard to feel original because it seems like everything has already been done, and chances are it has. So just do it anyway. This painting here is the perfect example because I tried to go back and find the original reference I used only to discover there are thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of photos of this exact scene in Glencoe, Scotland, but this didn't stop the second, third, or even thousandth person from taking their photo. So if you have an idea or you see something that sparks an idea, just go for it, even if you realize it's already been done. I think just doing art is the only way you will eventually find your originality and what defines your art. So here are the finished pieces. You will recognize some paintings that you didn't get to see me paint, and that's just because I needed to test out my materials before I added the pressure of filming myself. So like my canvases were a bit iffy, and then I also used gouache, which I'm not entirely confident with. I fell in love with this really bright neon pink color. I wish the camera could do it justice, but it is just so vibrant and beautiful. I would say that I achieved what I set out to do, which was to have paintings to give everyone for Christmas, and I also feel a lot better about creating now. Of course, it isn't just going to be one project that fixes everything. This is just building the foundation for further improvement. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.